We are going to build and deploy a modern landing page using Bootstrap. Before we get into code, let's look at the layout first. For the deployment, we are going to use Netlify. This is a navbar with the logo and then the navigation links with the call to action. And this is a hero section with a title and then description and some call to actions here, and we have the image. As you can see for this layout, it is using what is called Flexbox. And I'm going to show you how we are going to use it. And below here, we have the features for this project. And as you can see the cool effect, if I move my cursor on it, and then below here is a pricing section with the basic, popular, enterprise. And these are the features for each of the pricing. And we have the testimonial with the image, the name, the company, and then the message. And we also have the contact form and the footer here. And one cool thing about this project is that it is responsive. So even if I decrease the browser window, as you can see how responsive it is, and we have the drop down for my navigations. Apart from this, we have also implemented what is called internal navigations. For example, if I click on the features, as you can see, it has jumped into the features section. Likewise, the pricing, testimonials, and get started, and that is a contact form. And this is what we are going to build or design and deploy. In case you are not familiar with Bootstrap, let's search for Bootstrap, or better still, you can go to getbootstrap.com. And Bootstrap is a popular open source front-end framework used for designing responsive and mobile-first web applications. Developed by Twitter, it includes a collection of CSS and JavaScript components, templates, and utilities that simplify and speed up the development of visually consistent and functional website. We are going to include some few lines of custom CSS. So back to Visual Studio Code. I have a folder called landing page. And before that, let's explore the Bootstrap. If you go to getbootstrap.com, click on the documentation. And below here, they have the starter template, and that is a quick start. And this is what we are going to use. Not this one, but instead this one. For this, it includes the CSS and then the JavaScript. So copy that, and then back to Visual Studio Code, I'm going to have one file called index.html. And I'm going to paste that, right click, and then preview it in the browser. And this is a preview. So for this, we are going to include what is called icons from Bootstrap. You can use Font Awesome icons, but for this, we're going to use Bootstrap icons. Let's get into Google and search for Bootstrap icons CDN. Or better still, you can go to cdngs.com, and this is what we want. I'm going to click on this that ends with main.css. Copy that and back to the project. Let me have a comment as Bootstrap CSS, and I'm going to have Bootstrap icons, and I'm going to paste that. And this is a JavaScript as Bootstrap JavaScript. And I'm going to rename this one to modern landing page. And let's have a look, which is this one. We are going to use this one as a roadmap. So let's begin with the navbar. So back here in the HTML, I'm going to remove this one. I'm going to have a comment as navbar begins and navbar ends. Alright, so it goes with nav. All what you're going to use here is to use Bootstrap classes because they have already written the CSS for us. That is why we are using the link from Bootstrap. This means that we are pulling all the CSS written by Bootstrap, and all what you need to do is to use their class names, and that is it. So here I'm going to provide what is called class. I'm going to use nav, supposed to be navbar, and for the navbar they have different variations. So if you check the official documentation, and let's search for navbar. And these are the variations. As you can see, we have one as that, likewise this, and that. So back here, we have the first class as navbar. And this is the base class for Bootstrap navigation component. Then we're gonna have navbar dash expand and then dash LG for large. And this one makes the navbar responsive at screen sizes larger than the large breakpoint, and that is 992 pixels. The navbar will show all items horizontally, and below this breakpoint, it collapses into a hamburger menu. Apart from that, you also have what is called navbar light dash light. This one sets the color scheme for light backgrounds and makes text dark for better contrast on light backgrounds. And then I'm going to provide BG white for the background and use fixed dash top. And this one makes the navbar stick to the top of the viewport, and the navbar will stay visible when even scrolling. And then shadow dash small. This one adds a subtle shadow effect below the navbar, and this one creates a visual separation between the navbar and then the content. So with this one, if I save it and then get back to the page, as you can see, this is what we have. At the moment, we don't have any content. So in the navbar, expand it, and you're gonna provide a div, and for this div, you're gonna have a class called container. With this class, it is going to provide some margin and padding around the navbar. Let's begin with the logo, which is this one. Therefore, we're gonna use a tag for that because we want the logo to be clickable. So in here, you're gonna provide the icon by using iClass. And the name for this, I'm gonna use as startup. For the a tag, I'm gonna provide a class by using what is called navbar brand. And the purpose for this class is that it is going to style the element as a brand logo in Bootstrap's navbar. And after that, we're gonna use fw-bold. And this one makes the text bold, and that is font weight equal to bold. And then space text dash primary. And this one gives us the primary color. And for the icon, we're gonna provide a class equal to bi space bi dash boxes. And this is how we use icons from Bootstrap icons. And bi is Bootstrap icons class prefix. Bi box is the icon name. If you search for Bootstrap icons, which is this one, then let's get into the official website, which is this, and these are the icon names. Let's say that we're gonna use this one, then we need to provide the bi and then the icon name. That's what we are using it here as that. So let's preview what we are building, which is this one, and indeed we have it as that, as startup. So back here, the value for this will be outside the icon, and this is what we have. As you can see, for the final one, we have something like this. The next part is going to be a button. Provide button, and then in the button, provide a span, and let's give it a class as navbar toggler icon. And for the button, provide a class. I will explain each of these classes. Provide navbar dash toggler, and then type equal to button, and data dash bs dash toggle is equal to collapse, and then data dash bs dash target is equal to hashtag navbar nav. So let me explain the navbar toggler, which is this one. This is a class that styles the button used for toggling in the navigation menu on mobile devices. And this one is specifically designed for collapsible navbar functionality. and we have the navbar toggler icon. This one creates a familiar hamburger menu that appears on the button. It is a visual indicator that the button controls the navigation menu. For the final one, if I reduce the browser window, as you can see, this is the button with the hamburger menu. And this is what we are building. And this one is from the button with these classes and then with this data attribute. This attribute works with these classes to control which element collapse or expand, in this case the element with the ID equal to navbar nav. And this is a standard pattern in Bootstrap for creating mobile-friendly, responsive navigation menus that collapse into a hamburger menu on smaller screens. It's time for us to implement the individual links. So let me increase it as that. Alright, so after the button, let me collapse and then provide a div with a class equal to collapse space and navbar collapse. And then provide ID equal to navbar nav. For this ID, as you saw in the button, we provided the target, which is equal to navbar nav, and this is where we are targeting it. In between this, we're going to provide UL, and for the UL, provide a class equal to navbar-nav and provide ms equal to auto. Let's finish with the LIs, then I will explain the purpose of each of these classes. Provide li, and for each of the LIs, provide a class which is called nav-item, and then a tag, and the name is equal to features. For the href, provide hashtag equal to features. This one is used to create internal navigation, and I'll show you how you're going to use it. So for the a tag, provide a class equal to nav-link. Let me explain each of these classes. For this class called collapse, it hides the content by default and enables toggling visibility, and that is used for mobile responsive navigation. And navbar collapse is specifically for collapsible navbar content, works in conjunction with a toggle button for mobile views. And also navbar navigation or navbar nav, this one styles the navigation items within a navbar, providing a proper spacing and alignment. MS Auto stands for Margin Start Auto, and this one pushes the navigation items to the right side of the navbar. And navbar item is for individual navigation items in a navbar, providing proper spacing and styling. And navbar link provide anchor tags within navigation, provide proper padding, hover state, and active state. So let's see the preview of this, and this is what we have for the features. And apart from that, we also have the following as pricing, testimonials, and button. To make our life easier, we are going to copy and paste the individual LIs, paste it here, and change this one to pricing. And then for the href, change to pricing. And let's see, this is what we have. Apart from that, the testimonials, and change this one to testimonials. Alright, and lastly is the button, paste that. And for the a tag, remove the nav link and use btn space btn dash primary. This is for button classes, and then ms dash 2, and change this one to contact. In Bootstrap, M stands for margin, and that is for spacing, and MS stands for margin start. So with this one, let me change this one to get started. And this is what we have as get started, testimonials, pricing, and features. We are done with the navbar. Let's look at the responsiveness of this. If I reduce the browser window, this is what we have. So let's focus on the hero section, which is this part. So back to Visual Studio Code. I'm going to collapse the navbar, and after the comment, I'm going to call this one as hero section and provide a tag equal to section and a class as hero-section. This is going to be our custom CSS that we're going to use to apply on this section. And then I'm going to use some Bootstrap classes as text as white and d-flex. This means display is equal to flex. We are going to use flexbox properties because by default Bootstrap uses flexbox. So for this one, it is going to turn the container into a flex container. And then I'm going to align everything as align-items-center. And then in between, I'm going to provide a div with a class equal to container. And container class is going to create a responsive fixed width container that centers your content, and it has different maximum weight at different breakpoints, and this one includes horizontal padding. With this class, we have all these features, and then inside the container, we're gonna have a div, and the class goes like row and then align items. These are flexbox properties as align item equal to center and GY is equal to 5. Let me explain these classes one more time. The row is going to create a Bootstrap grid row, and align items equal to center is going to vertically center items in the row. This is going to add vertical spacing, and that is gutters of size 5 between row items, about 48 pixels. In between, bring in div with a class equal to col-lg-6 and text-center and text-large-start. Let me explain this class, and that is column large equal to 6. And this one means takes up 6 columns, and that is half weight on large screens. And text center is going to center all the text, and then text-large equal to start, and this is going to align the text on larger screens. Therefore, let's provide h1 with a text as transform your business with our solution. I'm going to copy this text and then paste it here. Provide a class equal to display-4, and then font weight bold and margin bottom as 4. The display equal to 4, this is going to make the text larger and more prominent. With this one, let's save it and reload. The text is not visible because the text is white and then the background is equal to white. We are going to use some background colors to make the text more prominent. Then after the h1, bring in p with a class equal to lead, and then space margin bottom is equal to 4. And lead is going to make the paragraph text slightly larger and more prominent. So we're going to provide this text as empower your business with cutting edge tools and insights. I'm going to paste the description as that. And after that, we're going to have these two buttons, get started and then read more. Therefore, we are going to wrap it in a div with a class equal to display as flex and then flex dash column. And this one specifies the direction of the flex as column. This means that it's going to stack items vertically by default. And space flex dash small dash row. This means that it is going to change the horizontal layout on small screens and upwards. After that, I'm gonna bring in gap equal to 3. And gap is going to add some spacing between the flex items. and then justify dash content dash center. And this is going to center the items horizontally by default, and space justify content and then LG for large and then start. This is going to align the items to start on larger screens. Then in between the div, we're gonna have the two links. It's supposed to be like this. As A for the first link, we're gonna provide as get started. Then the value is equal to hashtag, and provide hashtag and use contact. I'll explain when we get into the main action for this one. This is going to create internal navigation. So let's provide class to the A tag by using class btn and then btn dash light and then btn dash large and then space w is equal to 100 and then w dash small is equal to auto. The btn is a basic button styling, and btn light is going to give color white on the button, and btn large is going to large the button size, and w-100 is going to give you the full weight on smaller screens, and width-small is equal to auto is going to auto the weight on small screens and upwards. I'm going to copy this one for the learn more, change this one to learn more, and everything remains the same. Let me preview that, and this is what we have. Once again, as soon as we have a color on the background, all this text will be visible. So to make it visible, we are going to add our custom CSS, which is hero section here. We're going to write it in line with this because we're going to have some few lines of CSS. So bring style and then dot hero section background is equal to, we're going to use linear gradient. We're going to provide two colors and then the angle. The first color, the angle is equal to 135 degrees, comma, and the color is equal to hashtag 6366F1, and provide 0%. For the second one, I'm going to provide a color equal to A855F7 and then space 100%. For that, provide padding equal to 120 space 0 and then minimum height is equal to 100 VH. That is viewport height. And this is what we have. As compared to the final one, we are on track. Nice. The next one is going to be the image, which is this one. I think for this, the background is not light. So let's remove the classes. The class, instead of light, we're going to use btn outline dash light. Let's see. All right. So let's include the image. So after this, bring in the image, or let me wrap it in a div and provide a class column dash large equal to 6. This means that on larger screens, it should take half of it. And then the image, note that Bootstrap provides some responsive image classes, and the class is equal to image dash fluid. And let's get into Google. I'm gonna search an image from Pixabay. I'm gonna search for tech, and I use this one, copy image address, or you can download it and host it locally. So in the RSRC, paste that and reload, and this is what we have. Well, the position is wrong. It's supposed to be outside. So copy the div for the image, and we are going to paste it. Let's locate the container, which is this, and we're gonna paste it inside this row. So expand it, and this is a row. Let me see where it ends. It ends here. Therefore, after that, I'm gonna paste it Save it, and this is what we have. And let's have some rounded corners. So back to the image class, which is this, space rounded dash 4 and then shadow, and we have this cool effect. We are going to work on the features section, which is this part. Back to Visual Studio Code, I'm going to collapse the hero section and have a comment as features. For the features, we're going to use a section and then provide ID equal to features. Now, let me explain the purpose of this ID here. For this ID, it is not for styling, but instead it is for navigation. Do you remember that? Inside the navigation links, we provided what is called href equal to hashtag and then some value. Let me show you here, for example, this one. This means that when a user clicks on the features here, it is going to look inside our code and look for any tag that has an ID equal to features. Then it will jump into that section. Likewise, the pricing and then the testimonials. Below here, this is where we are specifying the destination, and then provide a class equal to padding y equal to 5. Provide a div with a class equal to container. For this one, we have already explained. And then padding equal to 5. And this one is going to center this text and then the description. In between here, provide h2, I'm going to say amazing features. Provide a class font weight equal to bold. And then p tag with a description as discover what makes it different. And provide a class equal to text dash muted. We're going to have something like gray color. Let me show you what I mean here. As you can see, something like this. Let's center everything here. Therefore, I'm going to cut this one from here and use a div, paste that, and for this container, provide a class equal to text dash center. And it has centered everything, and provide margin bottom equal to 5. Alright, so it's time for us to provide the individual features. We're going to provide a row for each feature. So div with a class equal to row space g equal to 4. G equal to 4 is a great gap or gutter of size between columns. So inside, gonna have the individual features. Therefore, I'm gonna provide a div with a class equal to column dash md equal to 4. This means that on medium screens, it should take 4 out of 12. Note that the total column is equal to 12. So on medium, it should take 4. Then we're gonna have the individual card, and Bootstrap makes our life easier by using a class equal to card. With this one, we're gonna have a card-like structure. So after that, provide h equal to 100 and padding on all sizes is equal to 4. Then we're gonna provide 3 things. If you look at the final one, we have the icon, title, and then the description. So let's begin with the icon. I'm gonna use a div and then provide I tag. For the I tag, the class is equal to bi space and then big. Once again, if you check the official documentation of Bootstrap icons, you're gonna see this class. As you can see, for the final one, for the icon, we have a background color. And for this, I use some custom CSS. Therefore, provide a class equal to feature dash icon. Then after the icon, provide h4, and I'm gonna say easy integration. Then the description are seamless integrate. Copy the description, paste that, and then provide a class equal to text dash muted. So let's see what we have. Let me save it. And this is what we have. As you can see, for the final one, we have something like this. So let's go ahead and style this icon. So let's get into the CSS. I'm going to provide dot feature dash icon, a width of 64 pixels, height 64 pixels, background hashtag 6366F1, and then the color as white, border radius of 12 pixels, align items center. Therefore, we need to have display equal to flex, and then justify content as center, font size equal to 12 pixels, and then margin bottom is equal to 1 rem. Alright, this is what we have. I think the font size is too small. What about 20? Alright. And for the card, I don't want the border. Therefore, we can override by using .card. For this one, we are overriding the Bootstrap classes. I'm going to use border is equal to none. And then transition, let's have some cool animation as transform space 0.3 seconds space as ease. Therefore, we will need the hover effect as colon hover. On hover, I want to translate, remove this, translate on y-axis, and it should go -5 pixels. Now let's see, it's supposed to be transform. Alright, so let's see. Now you don't have the border, and if I hover, it is moving -5 pixels on the y-axis. So let's continue with the other feature. We're going to copy and paste. This one is feature 1, and that is this one. I'm going to label it as feature 1, collapse it, copy, feature 2, paste, and then feature 3, also paste. We're going to change the text and then the icon. So for the final one, this one is secure and reliable. Paste that. The description as this, and the icon is equal to BI shield dash check. Let's see what we have. Something like this. The last one is analytics, which is this one. Replace with that. Then the description, also that, and the icon is BI graph dash app. Let's see. Alright, so let's see the responsiveness of this, and indeed it is responsive. The next section is going to be the pricing. Back to Visual Studio Code, I'm going to collapse the features container. This one is a hero, and then features. I'm going to have the pricing, and it goes like this: section, then provide the ID for the internal navigation as pricing. This means when a user click on the pricing, it should jump into the pricing. And note that we have binded the navigation link as ID equal to pricing in the href. So when a user click on this, it's going to locate a div with ID equal to pricing, and then space, provide pricing card. This is going to be our custom CSS, and then provide a class called BG light. You want to have white background and padding of 5. Then in between, we're going to have the container as div with a class equal to container, and then padding y of 5. Then in between the container, we're going to have the title of the pricing as simple pricing. Therefore, I'm going to use a div with a class equal to text dash center, and then margin bottom of 5. In between, provide h2 called simple pricing, and then p tag as choose the plan that works for you. Copy that and then paste. The class is equal to text dash muted. And let's see what we have. Alright, there we go. Then let's provide a row. After the text container, provide a class called row. I'm going to use dot row. This is Emmet syntax for adding class to an element. Then after the row, space G of 4, and that is getter or the spacing. And let's begin with the basic plan. You're going to have a div with a class equal to column dash lg dash 4, and then provide a div. This is going to wrap the entire of the plan as class is equal to card, and then our custom css as pricing card, space age is equal to 100, and that is height, and then padding on all sizes as 4. Then we're gonna have a div with a class equal to card dash body. This class is from Bootstrap to create a card-like structure. So after that, we will need the h5 for the actual text as basics or basic, with a class equal to muted as text dash muted. And let's see. Alright, let's provide the price. If you look at the final one, we have the price as that. So after that, and that is after the h5, gonna have h2. I'm gonna provide $9 for this as 9, and then use small. I want to have this styling as $, and then / the month. So it goes inside the small. I'm gonna use / month, or let me write it in full as that. And then the class is equal to fs-6. fs simply means font size. And for the h2, we're gonna provide display equal to 4, and then font weight as bold, and margin bottom of 4. Let's see the effect. Alright, this is what I want. Then after that, we're gonna have the list. Back here, after the h2, we will need the ul with a class equal to list dash on style, and then space margin bottom equal to 4. This class called list on style is going to remove the default styling, and that is a bullet. Then in between, we're gonna have the individual li's with a class equal to margin bottom of 3, and the first one is going to be the icon, and that is a check icon. Therefore, I will need the I tag with a class equal to bi, and then bi dash check, space text dash primary, space, and then margin end is equal to 2. So save it and let's see. Alright, I have the check icon. Then after the icon, I'm gonna provide the basic features, and I'm gonna copy this, paste it for the next feature. If you look at this, we have one user. Therefore, I'm gonna change this one to one user, and everything remains the same. Alright, and after that is the size as 5 gig storage. Paste 5 gig storage. Alright, and let's provide the button as get started. So after the li, you're gonna use a tag, And for this, it will not point to any place. Therefore, I'm going to use hashtag. And I'm going to say that get started. And the class is equal to btn space btn dash outline. And instead of light, I'm going to use primary. And then weight is equal to 100%. And let's see. Alright, the next one is going to be this one, and that is a popular plan. So I'm going to copy and paste the basic one, and then I'm going to say pro plan, and then paste. And after the card body, I'm going to provide a span. I'm going to call this one as popular, and provide a class as badge. This one is from Bootstrap, and then bg primary, and then margin bottom is equal to 2, and this is what we have. I'm going to change this one to pro, and then the price is equal to $29 per month, and all basic features instead of 1 user is equal to 5 users. And instead of 5, it is equal to 50 gig. And then get started. For this, remove the outline. And let's see. Alright. And lastly is the enterprise plan. Let's copy the basic plan. Let me collapse this as enterprise plan. Paste. And change this one to enterprise, and the price is $99. And then here as all pro features, and then unlimited users, and instead of 5 gig is equal to 1 TB storage, and then contact us. And let's see. Alright, so if I reduce the browser window, it is also responsive. Not this one, it's supposed to be this. Yeah, as you can see, it is responsive. The next part is going to be the testimonials. Back to Visual Studio Code. I'm going to collapse the pricing, which is this one, and I'm gonna have a comment as testimonial section, and it goes like this: section with ID equal to testimonials, and then with a class equal to padding y equal to 5. So we're gonna have a div with a class equal to container, as we have already explained, and then padding y equal to 5. Then we're going to have the heading as what our clients say. It's going to be as div with a class equal to text dash center and margin bottom of 5. And let's provide a class equal to font weight dash bold, and the text as what our clients say, and then p tag with class equal to text muted, and the text as trusted by thousands of companies. Then after the heading, let's see what we have. Alright, let's increase the font size. I think font weight equal to bold. Well, it's supposed to be H2. We're going to have a container that wraps individual testimonials. So after the heading, we're going to have a class called row, and then space getter is equal to 4, and that is the spacing. Let's begin with testimonial 1, and we're going to have a div with a class equal to column dash md equal to 4. and in between that, we're gonna have a div with a class equal to card, and space height is equal to 100%, and padding on all sizes as 4. We're going to have the image, the name, company, and then the testimonial. So I'm gonna wrap the image, the name, and the company in one container. I'm gonna provide a class equal to direction equal to flex, and then align items center and margin bottom of 4. So let's begin with the first image, SRC. In the SRC, I'm going to search for any image of my choice. I'm gonna search for profile head. I want this cut. I'm gonna copy the image address and then paste it here. For the alt, I'm gonna say testimonial1 or testimonial-image, or let me use client1, and provide a class equal to testimonial image. For this, we're gonna use our custom CSS, and after the image, we're gonna have a div that's going to wrap both the name and then the company. So for this, there'll be no class on that. H5 is going to be as John Doe with a class equal to margin bottom of 0. Then the company, I'm gonna use small, and the name is called CEO, comma, and then the company. And the class is equal to text dash muted. Let's see. Alright, the image is too big. Don't worry, we'll go ahead and style it. So let's continue. After this div, we're gonna have p tag with the actual description or the message. I'm going to copy this and then paste it here, and then the class is equal to text dash muted. You can use any text of your choice. So let's go ahead and style the image as testimonial image. So back to the CSS, that a width is equal to 80 pixels, height 80 pixels, border radius of 50%. I want to have a circle, and object fit use cover to have perfect align image. And this is what we have: the name and then the company plus the actual message. They are not perfectly aligned. Inside the deflex, the actual message must be outside that. So I have cut everything, and if I collapse the deflex, after that I'm going to paste that, and let's see. Alright, everything is okay. As compared to the final one, everything is perfect. I'm going to copy and paste for the next testimonial. I'm going to select everything from here, paste, change this one to testimonial 2, and there we go. Collapse, paste, testimonial 3, and let's use different images. I'm gonna copy this image address. For the second one, not this, for the second one, replace with that, and the name, let me see, this one is Jen Smith, and you can change the company and then the message. Let me use this, and this one is CTO startup, and let me use different image. This is a guy, so let me use a dog for that instead of this. And let's look at the next one as Mike Johnson. Then the message is this. Place with that, and let's see. Alright, I think the image, let me use this, copy image address. Alright, and let's see. Alright, the next part is going to be the contact form. Back to Visual Studio Code here, I'm going to collapse the testimonial and then comment as contact. For the contact section with ID equal to contact, and then class equal to bg-light, and then space padding y of 5. And let's have a div container with a class equal to container, and then padding y of 5. Provide a div with a class equal to row, space justify content as center, and then in between we're gonna have a div with a class equal to column md equal to 8. This means that on medium screens it should take 8 out of 12, and then on larger screens as column dash lg for large, it should take half of it. And then in between provide a div with a class equal to card space small shadow as shadow small, and let's see what we have. Something like this. It is not visible because we don't have any content. So let's provide a div with a class equal to card dash body, and padding on all sizes as 4, and padding on medium screens it should take 5, and then h3 as get in touch. For the h3, provide font weight equal to bold, and then margin bottom of 4. Let me reload. Alright, and we have get in touch. Then after that, bring form for the actual form and remove any attribute because this form will not perform any functionality. So in the form, provide a div with a class equal to margin bottom of 3. This one is for the first input field for the name. Provide label and remove the for, and provide a class equal to form dash label, and provide the name as name. Then input, the type is text. Remove these guys and provide placeholder as your name. And then let's have a class equal to form dash control space form dash control dash lg. And let's see, awesome. I'm going to copy this div for the next input field. It is equal to the email, and the text is equal to email and your email. Alright, the next one is going to be copy and paste. It's going to be the message. And for the message, we're going to use text area instead of input. So change this one to text area. And for the text area, we're going to have the closing tag, and the class remains the same, and placeholder as your message, and remove the type. Rows is equal to 4. Alright, and lastly the button as button send message. Provide a class as btn space btn dash primary, and the type is equal to submit. Let's see the preview. Awesome. Let me provide bt large btn dash large space width is equal to 100, and let's see, let me provide some margin top of say 4. Alright, I have that spacing. The last part will be the footer. If you look at the final one, this is what we have. So back here, I'm going to collapse the contact and here as footer. For the footer, I'm going to use footer tag and provide a class bg dark, and that is a background color, and the text must be white and padding y of 4. Then provide a div with a class equal to container, and then let's provide a row, and for this row we're gonna have the following content with a class equal to column md-6, and then h5 as startup, and then p tag as, I'm gonna use this text and change this one to 2025, and provide, let me see the preview. Alright, we have it as that. So the next one is going to be the links. I'm going to use a div with a class equal to column dash md equal to 6, and then margin bottom of 0, and text dash md as end. This means that on medium screens it should move to the end. And then provide a div with a class equal to social links. We're going to write our custom CSS for the links, and in between we're gonna have the a tags, and for this you can use the right link for your social media. We're gonna use the first one as Twitter. The class is equal to bi and then bi dash Twitter, and then for the a tag provide a class equal to text dash white. So let's see the preview. Alright, and the next one is going to be, I'm gonna copy this, paste, and then Facebook. Let's see. Alright, and after that you're gonna have LinkedIn and then Instagram. Alright, let's see. Perfect. So let's go ahead and style this one. So back to the CSS, copy the social links and dot social links, then the a tag, use text decoration as none. Alright, so guys, here ends this project. The last part is the deployment, and that is hosting. So to host it, let's go to netlify.com and make sure to sign up. I have an account already. After that, locate your folder for that project. Mine is called landing page, which is this one. So back to Netlify. After sign up, you're going to deploy. Click on add new site and then deploy manually. All what you have to do is to drag and drop, but make sure that it has a file name equal to index at the root. I'm going to copy this and then just drag, and Netlify is doing its magic behind the scene. And it says that preview. And this is our website, which is now live. And we can customize the name. So let's get back here and click on Site Overview, and then Site Configuration, which is this. And then we have what is called Change Site Name. I'm going to call this one as Masync-Landing Page, and save. All right, now we have Meaningful URL, which is this, and you can purchase a custom domain to have your main domain than to use netlify.app. Alright guys, so here ends this project.